Hi, I'm comedian Lunga Chuka, the Energizer Funny, streaming live with my special guest on The Price of Fame podcast. We feature entertainment professionals on the show and find out what sacrifices were made to reach their level of success. Look forward to learning about how our guests have overcome mental health challenges, achieved success breakthroughs, what you need to know about the industry, and how you know when you actually have a talent that needs to be shared with the world. Take these episodes as your personal mentorship guidance on how to be a successful entertainer. We chat to those who have made it in South Africa and abroad. Let's make the SA entertainment industry the most supported by locals, because local talent is liquor talent. Subscribe now to keep up to date. You can also find us on all social platforms.
When I was younger, I used to dream of becoming a rugby player. Then realized I don't exactly have the bone structure to be playing rugby. So dedicated my life to becoming a professional fan. What a lot of people don't realize about being a professional fan is it takes a lot of hard work. You could say we're athletes ourselves. You see, when you're in a packed stadium, there's a lot of people. You need to dodge people here and there. So what do? Sidestep.
Go Blitzbokke. Blitzbokke. Go.
You see, grip strength is super important, okay? When you're in a packed stadium and you've got two beers, one in each hand, you don't want to put them down because someone might knock them over. So focusing on getting those forearms nice, big and juicy is really going to help you out. See you at the game.
Did I just do my own intro with my mic muted? Hilarious! Okay, let's try that again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Chuka, and I'll be your host. This is episode 26, season 2. All that energy, and what a fail. Tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, started his acting career about 10 years ago and has produced nothing but greatness. He's done 8 films, he's done 4 soapies with 400 episodes under his belt, and he's also directed and shot a traveling show, and he's also done a couple of hit series, and I'm sure some of you guys probably recognize him from the hit Netflix show Blood and Water. Without further ado, ladies and gents, please welcome to the screen, Arno! Greeff! Arno, Greeff, ladies and gentlemen!
What's up?
This load shedding is messing up everything.
It's making life difficult. It's muting mics. It's doing everything, you know.
I'm like, I do the whole thing, and I'm like clapping, and I'm like, usually, she brings on when I do this, okay, and I'm looking, and I'm peeping, and I'm like, he's not there yet, and I go for another round of applause, and then I'm like, oh snap, my mic is muted. Wow,
No, we're here now. We're here now.
it must have been a joke seeing all of that miming and all of that, and it's like,
It
look at this
was it
guy,
was entertaining. It was quite entertaining. No, so thank you for the enthusiasm.
so much energy, and we don't understand nothing.
No, but thank you for the beautiful intro.
Awesome stuff, man. Hey, Arno, thank you. Like I said, I mean, I know load shedding has been crazy. Usually I do
Mm,
my show at 7 p.m. We schedule for 7 p.m., but
yes.
unfortunately, load shedding had different plans for us. So, and like I said to you earlier on, like I was expecting my load shedding to hit like 2 times today earlier, and it hasn't hit yet. So I'm pretty nervous right now,
Sure.
but
Let's hold thumbs. Let's hold thumbs. It's not going to happen right now.
absolutely. But what I do know is just from keeping track of the times, load shedding only happens during even times. So like 2, 4, 6. It will never be on a 3 o'clock or
Yes.
4 o'clock. It will never hit on those times.
Yeah.
If it didn't hit at
Well,
8, expecting to hit at 10. But yo, I don't
now
know.
nowadays you can't really predict that. You just take it as it comes.
And that's the thing. That's so crazy. And the president is actually overseas. I'm shaking hands there with Biden and everyone.
Making
Especially,
jokes and laughing. What are you laughing about? Like, what are you laughing? We're struggling down here, man. We need some help here.
like the worst load shedding ever we've ever experienced, in the
And
history
he's
of.
laughing. And he's having a joke on that side. Yeah, sure.
Brother, thank you so much for being a guest on The Price of Fame. Truly honored to get to have you here. And I'm sure a
Thank you.
lot of my fans and a lot of your fans that are tuned in tonight who has seen you on the screen are looking forward to hearing the real story behind the side.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So
Let's
yeah,
do it. I'm excited.
awesome stuff, man. Listen, so you just came out with a bang. I mean, GQ magazine cover, New York Times interview, and you got engaged. What are some of I know the year's almost done, but what are
Yeah.
some of the achievements that you have on your bucket list that you still want to achieve for this year?
Wow. Yeah. Look, this year has been nothing short of amazing. I mean, when you list everything like that, I think about it again. I can't believe that's me you talking about. I've had so many bucket list items and goals and things already crossed off this year, and that's just been like a cherry on the cake. What else has been happening is I moved to Cape Town about 3 weeks ago. I'm sitting in my new place where my fiance and I will be staying, which is it's been stressful. It's been tiring, but it's beautiful to be here. Um, I had another goal of buying a new car, which I wrote it down at the beginning of the year. I just put it on the list, and I was like, this is never gonna happen, man. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah,
Bought a new car, getting married in a couple of weeks. And yeah, there's a couple of other exciting projects on the horizon as well, which I'm scared to say too much about it, just because there's so much work that still needs to go into it for it to actually release. But it's just, yeah, it's been an incredible year. It's been an incredible year.
yeah. No, also, I mean, you have to protect the energy of your projects, the ones that are
Mm,
still marinating. You can't speak too
yes.
soon. So I understand fully. But wow, man, that's a lot of achievements and a lot of things that you manifested this year. Wow. I mean,
Lots of things. Yeah.
like from coming out of 2 years where we could barely do anything, it's like
Mm,
you try to accomplish so much in one year. It's like all of those things that you held in from 2020, you're
yes.
like, I'm just gonna do it all this year.
I think it's just sort of, it's like a combination of a whole bunch of different things. What a lot of people don't realize is like, yeah, they only see like this past year, but they don't see the previous 10 years or the previous 15 years that where there were lots of struggles, lots of hardships, lots of trials and tribulations. And the time, I think just the timing has been right this year. A lot of things have gone my way, which I'm really
Yeah,
fortunate and blessed to be able to say. Um, but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm enjoying life at at the moment, which is good.
that's beautiful, brother, man. I mean, and it's really nice to be in a space like that, especially
Mm,
after what been through, you know, and a lot of people are still trying to cope with whatever. So it's very nice to hear that you're in a very, very powerful space. And yeah, and what you're saying, man, like, and that's why we're doing the show, because a lot, like, there's one saying that inspired this kind of show, you know, a lot of people sees the glory, but no one truly knows the story, you know, so they don't know
Yes, wow, I like that.
the trials and tribulations that you're kind of been through, you know. And once we learn that about our people, and especially our celebrities and the people that we appreciate, once we learn that about that, we get to see that they are just like us, you know, and we just
Just
like them.
human, just
And yeah,
human.
people are real, and I'm real, and just hearing your story somehow inspires me, you know. So that's basically the
Thank you,
vibe.
man. Thanks.
Yes. I'm looking forward to hearing your story tonight. But before we get into all of that, I want to know from the beginning.
Yes.
Tell us about your upbringing, Mr. Arno. Where did you grow up? What kind of kid were you before you moved in, before the arts became something of your interest?
Sure. So I grew up mostly in Johannesburg. I was born in Klerksdorp. I don't know if you know where that is. It's close to Potchefstroom, northwest. Born there, but then we moved to Johannesburg quite soon after I was born. I think I was about 3 years old. Um, and I was a curious child, man. I like to just, and I was always by myself. I was like a lone wolf, just exploring, doing stuff I probably shouldn't have done, but always looking for ways to entertain myself. And
Yeah.
when I was younger, I used to play a lot of sports as well. I grew up thinking like one day I was going to become a professional rugby player, like in that TikTok video that that you guys played. Um, I
Yeah.
seriously thought I was going to become a rugby player when I was younger. And then when it wasn't rugby, it was golf or it was tennis or it was something like that. Never really even imagined that I would become an actor or become someone sort of in the entertainment industry. That only came much later. But when I was younger, what one thing I remember about that is just I always wanted to entertain people. I liked being the center of attention. I liked telling jokes. You know, something like public speaking never scared me. I remember when I was in primary school and we had to do a speech in the class. I'd never did my homework, so I'd always forget that I need to prepare a speech. And then everyone would be sitting in the class like nervous. They don't want to go. And then because I just wanted to get it over with, I would just stand up and go and just like make up a speech as I go. And
Yeah.
I'd usually get horrible marks for the content of the speech, but I got good marks for the confidence of it.
Yes.
So I always had this. I guess I always had a sort of confidence being in front of people, being being the class clown as well. I was a class clown most of my life.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that helps so much, you know, because like the most common fear among everyone, I mean, like,
Mm.
and I'm not generalizing here, but the most common fear among most people is public speaking. You know,
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
afraid to a crowd, they're afraid to say anything in front of a crowd. And if I knew back in school days that Mondeling and all of these things was, and you know, things was just getting like, get over the fear. I also used to shy away and be like, nah, I don't want to speak there, whatever.
Yeah.
Later on through some a youth development agency program that I joined, it's through there that we learned, and we had to do like these little projects and we had to speak in front of people, and they even did like this public speaking exercise where they kind of be like judges and then they tell you, okay, yes, this is how you connect, give us tips, you
Yeah.
know, if you're too afraid to look at the people, look above the people, um, you know, pace side to side, acknowledge everyone, projecting, all
Yes.
of things I learned afterwards, you know, and I think it helps when you have skills because then you rely on your skills more so, you know, as opposed to like,
Yes.
gonna like me, am I gonna sound great, am I gonna do, you just feel like, okay, I'm gonna move to the side, and you focus on that and you just let it flow, you know, and I
Yeah.
think
I
somehow,
think
yeah,
Yeah, I think for me, like it's a good thing you spoke about like the skills. There's little things that you can learn to become better at them. Which luckily later in my life I found someone who could actually guide me and help me out with those things. But back in the day, I would just wing it. I would just stand up there, talk a bit of crap, and just smile and wave, and hopefully like there was usually a minimum of like I think 1 minute 30 that your speech had to be. So I would look at the clock just before I start talking, and I would just keep on rambling on until I see it's like almost at that 1:30, 1:45, and then I just make a big exit, and that was it, and there we went.
That's so dope. That's so dope. And I mean, like your acting, your passion for acting probably bit you at the age of 16.
Yes.
Like how was that? Because you said like you never saw yourself as an actor.
Mm,
And a lot of people usually the bite bugs are a lot younger. A lot early
yes.
in when they maybe used to do little dramas at school or anything like that. The way you describe it, you've probably never done any of that, and you never saw yourself becoming an actor. So, what was the turning point? Like, what made you like find an interest for acting?
Yeah, so it was kind of weird. So, at the end of grade 9, you need to start picking your subjects
Yeah,
from grade 10 and up. And I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do with my life or where I was heading. I wasn't exceptionally good at school. I sucked at math. I couldn't do physics. There was nothing I was really good at in terms of school. And one day I was driving back home with my friend. His mother took us back, and we were talking about the subjects, choosing subjects. And for some reason, she suggested, why don't you take drama? Like, why don't you just try it out? Because we had it at school as a subject, and for some reason she said, yeah, why don't you try it out? And I remember going home that night, and I was like, why would she say that? Why would she suggest that? And bearing in mind, like, you grow up with the idea, especially when you grow up Afrikaans and you grow up like playing rugby, and you this manly man, you big guy, big tough guy. You don't even think about something like that, like drama. What is drama gonna do now? Why would I want to take that? But for some reason it stuck. It was like, wait, but I'm actually, this is intriguing to me. And one thing about me is that I've always liked to try new things. Like I said, when I was younger, I always wanted to explore. I would go on bike rides to other neighborhoods to see what the houses looked like there. I would always want to learn new things. So then I decided, let me actually do it. Let me actually try the drama thing, and maybe I'll learn something new. Maybe I'll actually enjoy it. It also helps that, like, there were only about 3 guys who chose drama as a subject, and the rest were all girls. So back then I was like all for it.
I
The
can't wait for
the,
drama class.
the numbers were in my favor. Um, and then I started the next year, and immediately I enjoyed it, because that thing of like being in front of people, entertaining them, trying to capture an audience attention, that was such a thrill for me. Like, those nerves that you get before a speech, I love that, because it was like adrenaline. It was exciting. It's like, okay, you can't mess it up now. Let's go. How good can you actually do this? And that was exciting to me. And then we had a school play that year, and I got one of the lead roles in the play, and we went on to go to the national finals for theater in South Africa. And at the end of that night, I was like, well, I've never reached the finals this big of anything before. Like, I played rugby, but we never like got this far. And like,
Yeah,
I'm the only guy here. There's no, like, there isn't a whole team of guys standing behind me, and we're all like competing against each other. It's like, this is
yeah.
me. I'm in the show, and I can actually create a path for myself through this. And I also just remember the first time being on that stage, and like actually finishing a performance, and you didn't mess it up, and you did well, or at least you thought you did well. The thrill of that, like achieving something, that was so beautiful. And that night I decided, okay, cool, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to dedicate everything towards making this dream happen. And I mean, I had to quit the rugby team before that, and then I remember the rugby coach told everyone at school that I'm gay now, and it's this and it's that, and they were like making fun of me and like bullying me and whatever. But like, this was my dream now. This is what I was gonna do, because I enjoyed it. First of all, I really enjoyed it, but also just because it was something new. It was something else, and I also realized I was never really gonna play rugby, and I wasn't gonna do anything else. So yeah, that was the moment. Is that night.
I mean, like if I listen to how you described yourself earlier, especially with speaking up in class, and being the class clown, those are the kind of characteristics that you need when you move into
Yes,
drama, and that was naturally you. So I'm sure once you found drumming, it's like, oh my sack, like I found a place where I can be myself and be good at it.
exactly.
I can be the
Yeah.
silly, I can bring my ideas forth. I can be this character that I always am, and actually be good at it. It's a subject. Are you serious?
I, I think also just being and also being appreciated for it. Like
Yeah,
when I was in primary school, when I was younger, and being this class clown, people would always say like, "You're just looking for attention. Like, don't you get enough attention at home?" Um, and it would always be that while in my head I was just like, I just want to make you guys laugh, man. I just want to make you entertain,
yeah.
or entertain you. um, and when I found drama, it was like, wait, but these people actually appreciate that I'm standing in front of them and being silly or being serious or whatever it may be. So 100% I've found my place there eventually, after not really knowing where exactly I fit in before that.
And like, I mean, I don't know, are you like the only actor in your family, or do you have like other, people in your family that has also done acting or anything like that?
No, no, not at all. I'm 100% the first person of a whole extended family that actually went into it. Yeah, my father is an accountant. My mom's she works in corporate as well. My brother's in IT. There's no one else who's done it before. I would attribute a lot of my personality to my mother. She's a very entertaining person as well, and I think she might be living vicariously through me now. But yeah, I'm the first person to actually pursue this.
Like, tell me. I mean, like you said, you're the only person and your mom and dad, completely different industries, completely
Mm,
different work as to what you're pursuing.
yeah,
And usually it's not that easy breaking it, having a conversation with your parents and being like, you know what, this is the direction I'm going to go. And sometimes, especially when it's arts, they always be like, artists die poor and all of these things and blah,
yeah,
blah, blah. Did you ever have that kind of conversation with your family? Did they take it
sure.
easy on you with your decision of taking acting as a career?
So I, I think, and I don't want to make it sound bad, but my parents, they sort of left me to my own devices most of the time. Like, they didn't really know what was going on in my life. They never like interfered with what I was doing at school. I did all my own projects. They never even knew what was happening at school most of the time, because I would just do my own thing. And they, in the same breath, they also never limited me or tried to push me in a certain direction. Like my father always said, whatever you want to do in life, like, I'll support you and we'll make it happen. Cool. So when I went to him and I said, listen, okay, I'm not going to university. I'm gonna take a gap year after school. I want to be an actor. He looked at me and he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, do you really enjoy it? Are you happy with it? I said, yes, this is really what I want to do. And he said, cool. Well, I'll support you no matter what. Um, but obviously, you know how difficult this is going to be. You need to look after your finances. You need to make a plan. Um, but I'll give you time. I'll give you time to figure it out. But just know it's not going to be easy. Um, and since then, like, he's still, every now and then he's still a bit nervous. Like, we'll go drink coffee or whatever, and he's like, listen, so are you working, and like, do you have money, and like, are you still okay, and like, are you sure this is still what you want to do? And
Yeah.
every time it's just like, yes, of course, this is exactly what I want to do. And it is tough. There's been very difficult seasons. um and luckily it's been good enough that I've never had to like phone him up and like, dad, I don't have money for food. I've always made a plan. um but regardless, every now and then he'll just be like, listen, if you need anything, just give me a call. I'm always here. I'll always support you. But I think now, after like 10 years, he's seen like, okay, this is actually working out. Um, something like I bought the GQ cover. I bought the magazine and I just placed it on his bed when I went to visit him. I'm like, I didn't say anything. I just put it there, and then I phoned him like a week later, like, do you believe me now? Like, do you believe in me now? Um, but what I've heard as well, like he won't really tell me, but he's told my brother and like some of his other friends, like he's really proud of me, and he always knew I could do it, and he's so grateful that I actually made it, I guess. So there's always been very good support from their side.
Mm. I think, you know, like the way you describe how he's always been like supportive and saying like, you know, are you sure is everything okay? I
Yeah.
I I don't get the vibe that he was ever not supportive. I feel like he was
No.
just being your left brain. I think it's your right
Yes.
brain, left brain, the logical thinking,
Yeah.
you know, like sure you got
Yes.
your
Yes. Yes.
you sure you got this plan and that kind of thing, you know. Because if it was against it, he would have said he would have talked you out of it. But he actually
Yes.
said like, I'm here for you, and if you hit any dry patch, I'm actually. So I think he was just more so in a space of fear, you know, like
Yes.
fearing that you might hit rock bottom and you might not like achieve some of the things, you know, and it can go really south, you know, when people
Yes.
don't reach their dreams, you know, it can go really south. So I guess it was just very supportive, and he's kind
I
of like
think.
he reminds me of my brother. Like my brother's the same.
Oh
He's
yes.
he won't say to myself and my sister that he's proud of us, but when we meet his
Yeah.
friends, we always hear like, oh, your brother can't stop speaking about you. He's
Yeah. Yeah.
talking about you. I was like, this guy.
Yeah. I think with my dad especially is I think he has quite a few regrets of not following his own dreams.
Mm,
And we speak about that every now and then. And it's been coming out now where he told me like the things I'm doing, he wished that he did that as well. He wish he had more courage when he was younger. He wish he took more chances. So I think from the get-go, when I told him like this is the risk that I want to take, I want to avoid a nice traditional good career and become an actor who's probably never going to make money or survive. Um, he was like, okay, the curse is being broken. Someone in this family is stepping out and trying something new. And that's why he supported it. And now as well, he's like, he's looking at me almost in admiration just because I did it. And like again, it has not been easy. It has not been an easy journey. And he knows it as well because we talk about it. But I did it, but I still went for it. And yeah, I think that's why he was supportive, is because he didn't want me to go down the same path of not living my purpose.
mm. That is so awesome. I love that you mentioned that, you know, part of your personality, you get it from your mom. And I would say the way I also do my comedy, you know, well, not necessarily the content, but like how I perform. Because my father
Yeah.
is a retired preacher, pastor. And when
Okay.
he preach, you know, he's one of those preachers that like gets really
I
like,
love
you
it.
know, and he'll somehow run on one spot and all of that. So I watching up, you know, growing up as a kid, watching him preach. And when I moved into comedy, I became a physical comedian, you know, because I
Yeah.
remember all these engage with his body and I engage with my
Yes.
body. And you said your mom plays a huge role in terms of your personality.
Yeah.
Uh, what else would you say that you draw your influence from? Well, you said personally that, but like for your acting, maybe professionally, where do you draw
Yeah.
all what do you think is your influence and be like, I learn a lot from that, or these are my tips, or is it like someone that you
Sure.
idol, you know, learn from?
A lot of the acting comes from um, when I was younger. I didn't have the best childhood, in the sense of like I was lonely a lot of the time. I felt quite alone. My parents divorced when I was quite young, um, and there was a lot of sort of trauma that happened from there as well. But I lived two different lives. Like at school, I was a popular guy. Everyone knew me. I played in the first team rugby. I did this. I did that. So from the outside, it looked like I was living a great life. Um, but then back home, it was like there were certain struggles. There were quite a few struggles. So I tasted both sides of life. Of like when I go to school, I can taste the good life of like, wow, well, people like me, I'm popular, cool. I don't have to worry about being bullied or this. But then when I got back home, it was like, shit, I feel lonely and like I need some love, or I need some care, I need this. And I used to cry quite a lot when I was younger, and I've only actually recently sort of explored that again and realized, yeah, I used to actually cry a lot when I was younger. And I draw a lot of just from life experience. Like I've seen lots of different parts of life, the good side, the bad side, the medium side. So when I act, I just try and find the emotion. Is the emotion anger? Is it sadness? Is it depressed? Is it happy? And I know what that feels like to be in that state of mind. So it's easy then to just tap into it and use it to the performance, which is, yeah, it might sound kind of depressing now or sad. Like I'm not broken. I'm healed. I've dealt with my past and my traumas from there, but now it's become a tool. Now it's become like this beautiful thing that I can use to be an actor, to make money from it, to survive from it, and through that as well to share that pain with other people, to share that happiness with other people because they see it on screen. So now you're affecting other lives. And then obviously the platform that it's given me is like, I've got my, followers and people that I can talk to and share these experiences with as well, and impact their lives and hopefully, make a good impact on their lives as well.
I love that so much. I mean, you basically turn your traumas and your challenges to the tools that help you actually execute your job very well,
Yeah.
And I was speaking to an actor earlier on, and we were speaking about what actually makes your acting good is if you can channel your life experience. Because when you're
Yes.
acting, you're portraying a life of someone, who's lived this kind of life. So if
Yes.
you can channel your own experiences, your life experiences, it just makes the acting so much better. So for example, we've been through heartbreaks, a breakup before. So if you're
Yes.
gonna guy who's broken up, you know how to tap into those feelings, you know what it felt like or whatever, and you know like how you speak and you know the frog in the throat. But if you've never been through a breakup before, you're gonna be like, oh man, I guess we're going our separate ways, eh?
Yes.
It's not
Yeah.
gonna be authentic and realistic. So it's really cool that you can and I say this all the time. Pain and trauma has like molded the greatest people. Look at
Yeah.
Muhammad, tough journey. Look at Mike Tyson, all the people that we really appreciate, and that's like legendary status, have been through
Yeah.
some pain, and they use that
Yes.
to channel them, to push them actually prefer. And there's actually like a catalyst in their life, for the growth.
Yeah.
For
Look,
the
I also I, I want to also make it sort of clear that people shouldn't glorify it. People shouldn't glorify the pain always, because it doesn't have to be a prerequisite for you to go through pain for you to become successful. I used to think like, yeah, maybe if I'm not struggling, then I'm never going to be good. It's not nice to struggle. It's not good. Sure, it's building character, but it doesn't mean like you have to go through all these things. Everyone's going to go through tough times in their life. But there is room as well for like those past traumas and stuff to be healed, so that you make sure you're not going to like put your children through it as well. Yeah, I think that sometimes we glorify it a bit too much, but I'm not sure what the point is I'm trying to make. It's like, yeah,
no,
all I want to say is like, don't think just because what you're going through will make you successful makes it right. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, if you're going through tough stuff, then it's not easy, and you really need to fight hard to get through it and to try and become successful from that. But oftentimes, like, those things aren't supposed to happen to you. Just for people listening, like, whatever you're going through, sometimes it's really not supposed to be happening to you.
no, I guess, and like I agree with you. Some people, they stick to their story, stick to their pain story. They don't want to go like, yeah, I've been through that, so that's why I'm an asshole. Whatever. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Not a place to stay at. You're supposed
Yeah.
to learn from it, and
Yes.
grow, and take the
Yeah.
lesson out of it So don't, like you're saying, don't glorify it. Don't make it your own. Be like, yeah, I got depression, so what? No.
Yeah, yeah. So I can act like this now. No, like
I,
go to a
yeah,
therapist. Like sort it
I've
out,
been
man. You've got
tough, that's why I can act like it's like, no, 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 no,
no,
no.
like people hurt you, man, and you need to heal and become better. Shame, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is hilarious. And like you spoke about the challenges like before the acting and all of that, and in your 10 years of doing your thing, you've done some amazing things, you've grown as an actor, you've stepped into different spaces within your industry, and I want to know, was there ever a time where you kind of like reached a breaking point where you felt like, you know what, Arno just needs to take a break right now, I can't be for the
Sure.
world, for anyone. Can I just take a year break, a leap,
Yeah.
gap year,
Well,
and just myself? Did you ever reach a point like that in your career?
yeah. I think I've reached it quite a few times. It wasn't just once or twice. I mean, you go through so much rejection,
Mm,
disappointment. It really is a tough game, and you need to be strong mentally. And when I was younger, um, I was a bit difficult. I hadn't dealt with my past trauma, with my pain. So I would get impatient. I would get jealous of other people when they were doing well. I would get frustrated because things aren't happening as quick as I wanted them to happen. And I remembered, so there was one year, I think it was 2017, that I was on a show for about a year and a half, and then I just decided in December I need to quit. I need to get out of this because I mean I was working on this show, but I just wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled with what I was doing, and it also felt like I'm not I'm not achieving what I really want to achieve. Like this isn't pushing me out of my comfort zone. This isn't helping me grow. And then I stopped acting basically for a year, and that's when I started working as a cameraman. I worked on a show where we were traveling all over the world, which was this amazing opportunity, which happened during that time. And I learned so much about behind the scenes. So now I've got a company that does like social media content, and we do, for businesses, and for personal branding. And that's all the things I learned through that year, which was great because that gave me a base to make an income regardless of acting. Like if the acting's not working out, then at least I can fall back on this. And after that year, I was like, cool, I want to get back into this thing. I got in again, kicked off with a bang, did a few shows, did a few movies, and then it just stopped. And then just nothing happened. And even when I was working, I wasn't making enough money. My friends were like who studied proper degrees, they were starting to earn big bucks, and I'm struggling to pay rent at the moment. And I got to a point where I was like, this is not going to work out. This is just like, even though you're successful in terms of like you're working as an actor, you're not making enough money. You're not happy. Like, what are you doing? And that was about a week before I auditioned for Blood and Water. So I was never supposed to audition for the show. A friend of mine phoned me up. We worked on a production a couple of years prior to that. He's like, listen, have you heard about the show? Have you auditioned for it? They're looking for people, and I think you might fit one of the characters. Long story short, get the audition the next week. Did a good job. I was confident. I told myself like, this is maybe going to be the last one. Like let's give it a good shot, but if it doesn't work out, then maybe let's look at other options. And it worked out. And from there, from that moment, like everything shifted, like everything changed. I've never been more passionate about acting. I've never enjoyed it as much as I do now. That day, that audition changed my life, not in a sense of financially, but just because my mindset expanded, because now I'm on Netflix, I'm on a global stage, people around the world could see you. And that's what also was limiting me, is like I was doing these shows, but it was for such a small audience. And then you start to feel like, okay, but what's next? Like, is this going to be it? Like, are you going to keep on making just the same show for the same people for the rest of your life? Because if you're an entertainer, you want to entertain the masses. You want to make sure you have a big impact, Um, And Blood and Water brought that to me. Blood and Water was my first big English show, so that opened me up to a much bigger market as well, because prior to that I only did Afrikaans stuff. And since then, the people I met, you all of a sudden your mind just shifts into like, you see there's no ceiling. Like, you were limiting yourself. All of a sudden you see there's so much more that can be achieved. The world is still there. And I've never once thought since that day that I want to quit again. Like, for the past 3.5 years, I've just been like, let's go, let's build, let's see how big this can actually get, which is very exciting. But definitely, that right before that, I thought about throwing in the towel, and I was like, cool, let me focus. And I started a company. I started the production company back then, to quit acting, to just focus on that. And then the company didn't work out because I was never there. I was acting all the time. I was on set all the time. So it worked out beautifully. But I was very close. I was very close to quitting.
Wow. That's actually so interesting. I want to speak a little bit about that. But before I get to that, I love that you mentioned that it was kind of like difficult in the in-between times, in between the jobs. Is there any, like, because you've been through the road and there can be up and down, and it can be really tough. You're saying you're looking at other people, they're leveling up and everything like that. You get into this mindset of comparing yourself, especially with close friends and all of that, and you're like, look, where am I? Am I actually gonna make anything with this? Like, I've had moments, but look, where am I now? And then you can get to those moments, and it can be really frustrating, and it can sometimes, fall in, like, especially, and I know like a lot of actors don't get that much work, especially in Cape Town. Well, I'm speaking about the people that I know, and it can be really tough to be motivated in the in-between times. It can be really tough to be motivated. What do you think is the healthy mindset to have when if you're for the young aspiring actors now who's watching, what would think is the healthy mindset to have, especially during those in-between times?
I think one of the most important things I learned is you need to find your identity. And a lot of people find their identity only in what they do. Actors sometimes think that all they are actors. And if you live that way, that means, like, if you're not acting, then you're not living. So if you're not actually on a set, then you feel worthless. You feel like you don't contribute to society. You don't have any worth. And it took me a long time to learn, like, I am more than just this. I'm more than just an actor. Like, there's other things I can do. There's other things that can interest me as well. But the reality is, if I'm a successful actor in South Africa, I might be working 6 months of the year. That's a good piece of work there if you're a freelance actor. What am I doing the rest of the 6 months? Am I just sitting around waiting? Because now I'm not acting and feeling depressed and hating myself and thinking that I made a wrong choice. So that's where, like, the video production came in. I found a passion for video editing and shooting little films and shooting little things. So when I was not working as an actor, I could work on those things. Or when I was not on set working on something, I made sure that I went to the gym. I played some golf. I did something else that could stimulate me, that kept me busy, so that I didn't fall into that trap of thinking, like, if I'm not acting, then I'm not worthy of being a person, And once again, I talk about, like, playing golf, going to the gym. That costs money. If you don't have any money, that's difficult. So talking about that is, like, you need to understand, like, if you want to be an actor in South Africa, you need to have other forms of or sources of income. Whatever it may be, you need to have that as a backup always. Even some of the most successful actors in the country, like, they get to a point where for a year, maybe even 2, they don't work. And you don't make enough money while you work to sustain that. So before we get to the mental health part of it, you need to look realistically at, like, how am I going to sustain this until I get to a point where I don't need to do it anymore? It took me personally 10 years to get to a point where, like, I can live off of my acting money alone now. But I've still got that company running where if it's a quiet month, I try and book a few shoots, get a bit of money rolling, because then you feel like you're actually doing something, like you are providing something of value to the world still. But let's talk about, yeah, like just the mental aspect of it is, I've been through heavy stages of depression and doubting myself and feeling worthless, and I've tried a lot of things to try and help with that as well. Not everything works, but what has worked is that I've never stopped. I've never stopped looking for ways that I can become better, that I can learn myself better, that I can become in control of myself. I mean, I've got a whole bookcase here full of self-improvement books that I've tried to study and try and improve myself. You can't stop taking care of your mental health. And it starts with things like going to the gym, exercising, making sure you stay active, because that's the thing again, is like that gives you a new sense of purpose of like, okay, now I'm a gym person. Now I'm doing this, now I'm part of that club. So that makes me feel good. And also the endorphins, the physical change, all of that. Eating healthy, like to make that a priority. But then also to look at your mind and what are you thinking? I used to stand in the shower every morning and look at all the other actors in my age range and what are they doing at this moment. And then I would get depressed because, oh, he's shooting that and he's busy here and I'm not doing that. And I would just count myself out and my whole day would be horrible. It would be just the worst day because it started on that wrong note. So then I had to train myself. You can't, if you're in the shower, put on music so you can't think, or something. Do something so you don't have to do that. Make sure that at the beginning of the day you do a gratitude list, like what am I actually grateful for, because there's always something to be grateful for. But if you start the day with like, okay, another day, no job, no money, no this, then nothing is going to come from that. But if you start with like, okay, I actually slept okay and I've got a bed that I'm sleeping in, I've got something to eat today, like everything's good, that momentum starts building, and you can't stop, you can't stop that momentum once it starts going. But as soon as you allow yourself to live in that negativity, depression, you just sending out those signals to the world and it's going to come straight back at you. So keeping a positive mindset is the biggest thing, and focusing on what's happening right now. Don't worry about tomorrow or next month. You just focus on what can I do today to get me closer to where I want to be, and just focus on that. But yeah, getting caught up in the past or the future will kill you as well. That will make life a lot more difficult.
Oh, that's so absolutely true. And to be honest with you, I find myself there so many times,
Yeah,
thinking past in the future, and being like, because sometimes now gets uncomfortable because you're not happy with now. So you're being like, you're trying to focus on a better place than now.
yeah,
And why am I not reaching there and all of those things? And you put all these unrealistic limitations and pressures on yourself, and then it just gets overwhelming. So yeah, I need to catch myself every now and then
I
from
wanna I wanna
time.
just quickly show you. So this book changed my life completely. The Power of Now. I don't know if you've ever read it or seen it, but if anyone's struggling with that right now,
Yeah.
this let me just get it. This book will change your life. Okay.
I'm glad that you brought that because Eckhart Tolle is someone that I also like. I love his material, and you
Yeah.
said something is so significant. Also, like the thoughts that you wake up to. Like how you
Mm.
start. Joe Dispenza speaks about. I don't know if you're familiar with Joe Dispenza,
Yes,
but
yes, yes, yeah.
about, the thoughts that you wake up with is basically setting out what your rest of your
Mm.
day is gonna be like. So if you're gonna be like, it's Monday, you're already starting that tone. You're not enjoying your
Exactly.
all the little things in traffic that you would probably ignore any other day is getting to you. You only
Mm.
see this and all of that, and the universe will give you more of what you're asking for, what you're
Yeah,
vibrating, because it doesn't know right from wrong. It only knows how to match your vibe. So if you're giving negative,
exactly.
vibes, it's gonna give you negative vibes. If
It's
you're
gonna
giving
come
positive
back.
vibes, positive vibes. So I love that you mentioned that, and also the fact that you know I like that you didn't just sit around and wait. and just
Yeah.
try what's name. You kept yourself busy, you tried something else with still in the industry. It didn't like take you out of the, you directed your own, you directed and shot the travel show and that kind of thing. And I was about to ask like how did that come into play, but you basically described how it came into play. And I like the fact that it's kind of like your fallback, if you're not
Yeah.
being booked, you can make your own work, you got your own space, you got your own time to do and make your own work instead, and maybe book
Yeah.
other people in that time, so you
Yes.
have to create your own projects and bring that to life. So that's pretty cool. I truly appreciate that. And like with mentors, have you had any mentors that kind of like guided you on your journey, or especially when you moved into uh, like doing things on your own, like directing and all of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So the biggest mentor was my drama teacher at school. Um, I always say like if it wasn't for him, it would have taken me another 5 years before I even started. Because
Yeah.
from the day he started giving teaching us, he set out to give us all the tools, everything he learned from university right now, like while we were still at school. Because he told me as well, like studying drama is difficult because there's no guarantee of work after it. It's a lot of money, and you spend 3 or 4 years just finishing your degree before you can start acting, right? Before you can start as a professional. So he said, like, I'm gonna teach you guys everything I know, and if you want, then go do whatever or do with it whatever you want. So what he would do was like organize workshops at the school with professional actors, people who are working in the industry, and they would give us feedback and they would tell us, this is how auditions work, this is how this works, this is how you get an agent. So by the time I was about to leave school, I had like, let's say 50% of the knowledge that a drama degree would have given me. And it was so much easier for me to then enter the industry. Okay, I don't know everything, but I know a little bit of this or I know a little bit of that. It made it a lot easier for me to actually get started. And it would have been not impossible, but a lot more difficult had he not given us so much knowledge and tools to actually take it on. But then after that, I've had quite a few mentors over the years. Well, um, there was one actor as well, Jacques Bessenger, Afrikaans actor, amazing actor, and we got to work together eventually as well, which was quite a full circle moment. um, but I've found myself now, like, I don't really have mentors or people that I idolize, but I see little things in people that inspire me. People who are younger than me, people older than me. Like I said earlier, a lot of the Blood and Water cast, like, they open up my mind to so many possibilities of like just believing in yourself, having big dreams, the way you set up your career. Um, I find those things now in people. I don't have anyone that who's full time mentoring me, but I get mini mentors, I guess, along the way. Whatever I see that I like or inspires me, I try and incorporate that into my life.
Awesome. Yo, Arno, we kind of like getting close to the end of our
Is it?
interview and having so much time like chatting
Me
with you.
too. Yeah.
So
Sorry.
I'm left to that. No, no, no. Thank you so much for opening up and like teaching us so much, just learning through your journey. I'm sure we've learned so much about the industry as well, and also like what to look out for and also the different
Yeah.
phases it gets. So thank you for sharing your story with us. Uh,
Thank you.
my before I ask you my last question, I would
Yes.
love to know what is the most iconic role that you would love to play, or movie or type of project that you would love to do one day, and you'd be like, as an actor, I would really, or maybe even just act alongside someone, for example, if it's acting alongside Denzel Washington, or would you like
Yeah.
to do a action movie yourself, or what do you feel like as an actor would make you extremely happy and being like, wow, this is a legendary moment?
Yeah. You know, for a long time, I was like, I want to do something serious. People always say they want to play like a mental patient or they want to do this. And I was the same. I was like, yeah, I want to be in a wheelchair one eye only, and like be the psychopath or whatever. But now my biggest dream is like, I want to be in an action film. I want to be. I watched Top Gun the other day. I don't know if you've seen that,
Not
and
yet.
it was such an amazing cinema experience. And I thought, well, but this is what it's all about. It's like entertaining people. Sometimes you have selfish reasons to want to play these dark, messed up characters because it's fun and you need to go deep. But I would love to just play in an action film where it's like it's exciting and it's knocking and it's shooting and it's punching and it's flying and it's car chases, because people love seeing that. And I
Yeah.
think being able to create that would be amazing. And it's a dream as well, just because in South Africa we don't really have that. We don't really have action stuff, because it costs a lot of money. So my goal right now is to, like, I want to build myself up to get to a point where I can be in a massive like action film. I think what helps as well is because I was always very active. I played sports. I've got that. I can actually do something like that and use those skills again. But yeah, that's the big dream right now. That's the big, and also the fact that Dwayne Johnson is the highest paid actor in the world makes me think like it pays to do action stuff.
Dude, I mean, like, why I went like, yes, because I've been saying, and I'm putting this out to the universe, and I hope that they hear me, and please
Yeah.
get me. Because I've been saying I want to do a Marvel movie. I want to, like,
Oh
action
wow.
is
Yeah.
action is my vibe, like you're saying, car chasing, martial arts, all of that stuff, shooting, being that guy,
Yes. Yes.
oh, equalizer vibes, the equalizer.
Yes.
No, I was like, yeah, I so badly want to be in an action movie, but I think my biggest goal would be in a Marvel action movie. Like, I don't want to
Oh
be like
yes.
an guys. I want to be a hero.
Yeah.
I want
The
to
only
fight.
reason the only reason why I would want to do something like Top Gun instead of Marvel is because Marvel, a lot of it is like in the studio and a lot of it is CGI. Top Gun was like, I think 90% real stuff. Like they actually did those stunts. And I want to actually do those stunts. I want to be hanging off a plane. Well, maybe not. I'll probably be too scared for that. But I want to do the real stuff.
Oh, that's crazy. So you want to do your own stunts too?
I'll do it. I'll do it. I hate it when I get to set and they're like, listen, no, okay, no, we've got someone, a body double who's gonna jump off the roof so that you don't have to. It's like, no, I want to do that. I want to jump off the roof. Sure.
Dude, and like stunt artists get paid a lot, yeah. They get paid
Yeah.
a lot.
And then I'm like, leave that. You just like give me half of his pay. I'll take half of his pay, but don't bring other people here. I want to do it. I want to jump off the roof.
Don't bring other
Wow.
people.
Uh-uh.
Awesome stuff. All right, Arno, let's wrap this up, man. And again, thank
Cool.
you so much for being on this platform and sharing your story. I truly had a good time having
Me
a
too.
chat.
Thanks, man.
I feel like I know we're meeting now, but I feel like we've known each other for some time now. Just so
Yeah.
easy you're making me feel in this whole vibe.
We
So
need to catch a Bryce sometime, man.
for sure. Now you're in Cape Town. Now that let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So Arno, my interesting question for you, and this is the question that I ask all my guests, and I'm gonna put
Okay.
you in a time machine, and I'm gonna turn it back to a younger version of yourself. Maybe in a time where
Yeah.
you kind of get some advice or guidance, and you just felt like you spoke earlier on, there was a time that you were lonely, and you just needed some love
Mm.
and so maybe that will be a good time for you, but I'm leaving it up to you to take it to a version of yourself, and it's the Arno of today
Mm.
having walked the path, having made your sacrifices, having learned your lessons, having burnt your hand and learned there and created so many things, the version that you are today, speaking to the younger version of yourself. And I'm giving you 5 minutes to give him some advice or just some guidance. What would that be?
Sure. Sure. I think it's it's an interesting one. Because I would I wouldn't want it to change anything because otherwise I wouldn't have become who I am right now. But if I could give any advice to make the journey easier, um, it's to stop stressing about what's gonna happen, and to be patient as well. Because life is beautiful in the sense that everything works out exactly as it's supposed to be, but we make it tough by being anxious about the future, about stressing about what's going to happen or what's not going to happen, and
Yeah.
you rob yourself of the joy of life. The moment you actually just become present, you become patient, and you realize that everything will work out exactly the way it should if you put in the work as well, then there's nothing for you to stress about. um, I've finally found peace in life, just because I'm not worried about the future or regretful about the past anymore. So the advice to younger Arno is, do everything exactly as you have done, but have fun. Enjoy every moment. There's going to be tough times, there's going to be good times, but there's always a reason to smile. And whenever you find yourself in a difficult situation, or if you just find yourself on a random time throughout the day, just ask yourself, what is wrong right now? And 95% of the time, the answer is nothing. There's nothing really wrong right now. Um, just be patient and enjoy. Yeah.
Love it. But I'm upset for you for one thing now. I love
What?
first I love your story. I love that you just did that. And I love the message that you just, because I mean, there's a lot of parts where I can even relate myself, I feel like that is something for me. But I'm upset at you for allowing me to call you Arno this whole time when you actually prefer your name being pronounced Arno. I was like,
I don't. Yeah,
what?
but you can't say it in English really. Like, it's a difficult name. So here's the thing as well. My mom calls me Arno.
Okay.
I think my name is Arno, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's Arno.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
at this point, if it's somewhere in the region of what it's supposed to be, I'll take it.
Okay, okay. I guess you done also correcting people. It's just like, you know what?
Look, I
It's
don't
like,
even know what it is anymore. So it's just, yeah, we go. And I'm scared of what American people will call me one day. And hopefully we'll find out soon. But
yeah, yeah,
that's gonna be a funny one.
yeah. I think they might also call, oh, hey, Arno.
Hey,
But yeah.
Arno. Yeah.
But man, no, I don't know. Thank you so much for coming tonight again, man. I truly enjoyed like having you here on tonight. Before I let you go, is there anything that that I feel like that you maybe feel that I didn't give you the opportunity to cover that you maybe want to share? If anything
Sure.
is like that you have on your chest and you want to do so, please do so now.
I feel like I feel like I really spoke quite a bit tonight. I love interviews. I love answering questions. But no, I don't think there's anything. But like I said, even with the advice just I gave to myself, to people out there, is the same. It's just be patient, be appreciative of the moment you're in, and don't forget to have fun and enjoy the journey. That's it.
Thank you so much, brother. May you have a
Lunga,
lovely. I
it's
don't
been
know. I
such a
think
pleasure, man. Thank you.
now I might just go into load shedding now, but I don't know. But I'm glad I had this interview, so my night is made. Thank you so much, brother. And all the
We're gonna sleep sound. We're gonna sleep sound tonight.
yes, yes, yes. And may our paths lead, at some point, may our paths lead together
Yes,
and just
yes,
enjoy
yes,
his
yes.
company.
I'm
Otherwise,
looking
thank you.
forward to it, man.
Awesome. Awesome
Oh,
stuff.
way. Thanks,
Uh,
Lunga. Thank you for having me, man. It's been such a pleasure. Cheers.
awesome. Have a lovely evening further. Cheers.
You too. Bye bye.
Well, there you have it from Arno. Don't say Arno. Don't be like me. And don't be like other people who don't care. It's Arno. So there you have it from Mr. Arno, ladies and gents, and you have it from me. For those of you who are not following me just yet, you can catch me on Facebook at Lunga Chuka the Energizer Funny. That is Lunga Chuka the Energizer Funny. On Instagram, you can catch me at Lunga Chuka. And for exclusive snippets of The Price of Fame Season 1 and Season 2, you can go to Instagram, The Price of Fame ZA. You'll catch it all there. The link in the bio will take you straight to my YouTube page where you'll catch the extended episodes of Season 1 right through up until Season 2. And for those of you who prefer the audio version of these our podcast, you can go to Apple, Spotify, as well as Anchor FM. And Anchor FM has got this pretty cool feature where you can actually send us a voice note, and we if you like want to partake in the conversation and ask the guest something or just send a shout out, you go to Anchor FM and you bring it to me. We play it in the interview, and you can be part of all this fun. All right, ladies and gents, I think I'm going into load shedding now. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to head out. Thank you for staying up and being a loyal supporter of The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Chuka. This is The Price of Fame.